Okay, somebody asked me when I talked about half square triangles being mindless sewing. And for me, it kind of is. So I cut two squares that are oversized. This one called for 3 7/8, which I think will finish at 3 1/2 half square triangles. So I cut them at 4, and that leaves some room for trimming. So I'm going to use my Clearly Perfect. You see how it is here. It's hooked up to my machine, and then there's 3 lines here. And so if you line the point of your square up with this line on the left and follow that line all the way up as you're sewing, then you should come out with your your sewing line being about 1/4 of an inch on either side of what would be a drawn line if you were to draw it. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. On the last one that I tried, didn't have any color underneath it. So you see my point is going up the line, and I'm not looking at where my needle is, just the point. And it's following up, and it's going to finish right at the 1/4 inch. So if you look, you can see that that is about 1/4 of an inch away from that point. So I'm going to just cut another one that I already sewed, and I'm going to show you what happens. Then you just turn it. You turn it to the other side. You see I've already sewn down this side. So I'm going to line it up with my needle up here and my foot so that the point is right on the line up there, and the needle's right up against the fabric right there. And this point is lined up on the foot. So you can kind of see what I'm doing right there. And then I move down here and see where my point is, and it's lined up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and start to sew and follow the line. So right now all I'm doing is following that line. I'm not looking at my needle. It's hard to videotape and do this all at the same time. So I'm going to keep on sewing until it goes up to the edge, and you'll see it's right at the 1/4 inch. And so then when you're done, let me get one that's done, that's easier to see. So when you're done, you're going to have 2 lines like this, and you're going to cut from this point down the center to this point. And then when you open them up, you'll have two half square triangles that you can then trim to the correct size. So I can chain piece these, which makes it like mindless sewing on this part. And especially since you're going to trim at the end, you don't have to be quite as concerned as long as you oversize your squares before you start.